Hi, it's Elliott GetintheMix. Today we're going to be looking at Behringer's new semi-modular synth, the Behringer Neutron. So without further ado, let's jump in. So out of the box of the Neutron, you get a power cable, you get 6 patch cables. You get a power cable if you want to take it out of the case that it comes in and stick it into a Euro rack case. You also get a manual as well, which has all of the diagrams in terms of the routing and obviously the knob per function definitions in there for you as well. Extra information on how to custom patch the sum points at the bottom of the patch bay. There's also information about retuning the oscillators and stuff like that as well. So it's got a lot of information that I would recommend that you have a flick through before you're using it or while you're using it anyway, because let's be honest, who reads the manual these days? So. It's worth me saying as well, the build quality of the unit is really, really good. It's metal front plate, wooden end cheeks, there's a metal casing around it as well. All the knobs feel really nice and firm. There's no wobble in them whatsoever, and I'm just really, really happy with the build quality of the unit. I'm going to take a quick look at the features on the back. So you've got your power supply, USB MIDI through, you've got MIDI in here, you've got inputs, outputs and your headphone output. So looking at the features on the panel, we've got two 3340 oscillators. They can run in a paraphonic and a monophonic mode. You've got tune functions for each oscillator, octave function, wave, shape, choice, and your pulse width modulation. Next, going on to the filter, so we've got a multi-mode filter. I do believe it's a 2-pole or a 12-pole filter. You've got your modulation depth, which was hardwired to the LFO and the envelope, the filter envelope. We've also got a digital filter. It's worth me saying that this is the only digital feature on the whole of the synth. Everything else is fully analog. So we've got a VCA bias, we've got a noise oscillator, 2 envelopes. We've got an analog overdrive, which has got a tone and a drive function. We've also got an analog delay. You've got your output mix, repeat, so how long the delay will take to die out. Time, how quick the delay is. We've got some attenuators. 2 attenuators, I believe they are hardwired to the pulse width and I think the filter. Again, you have to check the manual out. Some slew rate limiter, so you've got your portamento for glides between notes, the slew. You've got sample and hold, which has got your glide and the rate, and then the volume output for the synth. The main feature of this thing is the patch bay. At the bottom here, you can see there's some 1 A and B and some 2 A and B. You can change these to what you like. The method of doing that is in the manual, so I just advise to check out the manual. And then everything else here is hardwired to exactly what it says. Yeah, we're going to just take a quick look at some sounds. There's no presets on this thing. The way it is set on the front is the sound that it's going to make, so you just kind of have to experiment with the modulation options and the synth itself. The synth is hardwired to work without patching in any modulation whatsoever, so you will be able to get sound out of it before you have to do any patching, which is the advantage of having a semi-modular synth. So yeah, let's go and look at some sounds. So I've just got here some MIDI clips that I've made in Ableton just to feed some information into the synth, so I don't have to play anything directly, so we can just play around with it. Just, yeah, plug cables in, turn knobs. So we've got basic patch running. I've actually got the oscillators running in paraphonic mode. So the oscillators don't run in a mono mode. They run separately, and you can combine them together. when you're experimenting with the patch bay, sometimes you find a nice combination. Sometimes you'll plug something in and the volume will peak and it will just go into a complete mess. But you can get some really weird sounds out of it doing it that way. I mean, this is quite musical, but you can just get a lot of like miscellaneous textures. That's really what I'd describe it as, but we can look at some of them later on in the video. So I've got the oscillator mix going into the wave shape of the second oscillator. As you can see, let's take out the LFO and go into pulse width. So the pulse width of the second oscillator. Actually no, we'll go into the pulse width of the first oscillator. As you can hear, the pulse width does go right through 0. You can hear that. I dial this back a little bit. Shouldn't cut out. Put the oscillators in oscillator sync mode. Basically triggers the oscillators at the same point. I'm going to put the portamento up. This is where you kind of get funky with what you're doing, get some really interesting textures. None of this goes in the video, right? Right, so I'm just going to put a little ARP on. Again, just played in through some MIDI. Let's take that tiny bit of reverb on there. So this is just the unit. Got an LFO on there that I'll just put on. Right, so we're going to VCF2. We'll go into Shake 2. A nice gradual change there. Let's come out of VCF1. To oscillator 1. Oh, nice bit of frequency mod. We'll try shape 1. That's a bit more crazy. Nice little triangle wave there. So that's just full delay there. So you've got a nice feedback from the delay there. Nice little squelchy sound there. That's a nice little squelcher. Single note here, just going to get that to repeat. What I'm going to do is just plug and play, basically. I've got the oscillator mix going into controlling the shape of oscillator 1. It's got a voltage controlled amplifier. Let's feed that into the input oscillator 1. I mean, it's not music, but you can certainly get some really interesting sounds out of this thing. We'll go from the noise, the shape of oscillator 2. Out of oscillator 1 and 2, going to the paraphonic. Get some weird sounds out of this thing. That's weird. So I've just taken the oscillators off the sync. Changed the tone a lot. You can change the tone of the synth here in the overdrive, so you can have it quite a sharp, puts emphasis on the higher end of the spectrum. Basically a slight filter. So with the tone on the minimum, kind of filters out the top end of the sound a bit. We've got drive here, add more crunch. So yeah, that's just a quick demo on the Behringer Neutron. Really versatile semi-modular synth. You can get a lot out of it. You can get basses, you can get leads, and again, what I was saying at the beginning of the video, kind of using the patch bay, you can get some like really miscellaneous weird textures, because there is just such an in-depth modulation matrix on this thing, which gives you so many more possibilities than just the synth itself. So taking this away is still a really, really fun piece of equipment to mess with. But this just kind of adds just a whole new world in what you can do with it. So yeah, I would recommend it. Obviously, I think it is really good for the kind of value for money. I think it's brilliant. So yeah, cool. Thank you.